Alright, so here we are with the last bit of instruction on how to change your Pages and Spreads document into a portfolio for yourself. As I indicated, I was going to show you how to go about doing that in a little video here. Will take as long as I guess it's going to take. Alright, so one of the first things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get rid of all of the stuff that was currently in the Pages and Spread document. I've got my rough version set up here, and it's come up on my screen as a rough demo. Yours, of course, will be re-entitled Portfolio. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get rid of the stuff that's on the first page. So we'll delete that. After that, you're going to want to go in and probably get rid of the stuff that's in the master pages. So we're going to go and open those up and zoom in here, because of course this is my watermark and you don't want that. So we're going to go in here and we're going to get rid of the watermarks on both sides. You'll notice that the special character has remained behind. That's fine because you're going to be using that just the same as you would have been on the multi-page Pages and Spread document. Other thing that you got up here is, of course, your header, and that's fine. You can leave it there. You want your name and your organization and your address and perhaps your web page and your address, or maybe your phone number. I don't know. Whatever you choose to have on there is fine. Now we're going to go down to our B master pages and do the same thing. You're going to want to go in there and eliminate that watermark page that you had. You may want to leave yours if you want to use the watermark behind everything. I'm going to show you really quickly here. I had joked a little bit about this. I'm going to go back out. I'm getting out of the master pages now and going back out to the main pages. I'm going to click on page 1 and zoom out so that you can see that I am indeed in the master pages. The other thing that you're going to want to do, of course, is get rid of that text panel that we had in there for the Pages and Spreads document. And I kidded with you guys a little bit about, well, maybe the first page that you want on your portfolio would be maybe you want a bowl of Cheerios. So first thing we're going to have to do, though, is we're going to have to go into layers, because we didn't do anything about that before. We've got this layer here, and I'm going to name that one background. In case I'm going to show you some backgrounds here in a moment and some of the problems with that. I'm going to open another layer and entitle that Images. This is where all the images for my portfolio would go. And I'm going to keep that, and then I'm going to open another one up and I'm going to call it Text. And this is where I would put down all of the information that I'm going to use to talk about all of the images that I place on here. For right now, I want to make sure that I lock the background and lock the text, because I only want to work in the images area. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a File and Place, and I'm going to go out here onto my desktop, because I've already got a file folder open just for this. Wrong layer. I want the Creative Suites assignment, and inside of the Creative Suites assignment I have a portfolio page for positioned for this demo right here, and in that I have an image of a bowl of Cheerios. So we're going to put the bowl of Cheerios on the first page, right like that. So there you go. Maybe your portfolio wants to start with a bowl of Cheerios, so we're going to leave that there. And we're going to go down to the next page. I'm going to hold down my Alt key so I can zoom out, and then zoom back into page number 2. And I think I told you that in the demonstration, the first assignment that I'm going to want you to add anything in here from would be File and Place, and you're going to go to back out of this Creative Suites and go to assignment number 2, your selfie, and place it in here somewhere. And you might want to make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to leave mine this same size. And the other thing that I'm going to do here really quickly is I'm going to show you how you can add a drop shadow to your images. To do that with the image still highlighted like this with the bounding box around it, you can go in and you can go to Object and Effects and Drop Shadow. There are other effects that you can add. You can change the opacity, you can change the size, you can change a lot of stuff, so you might want to mess around with this a little bit. You can do inner shadow, outer shadow, you can do inner glow, you can all kinds of interesting stuff with your image, so you can mess around with that a little bit. I'm just going to be going ahead and adding my drop shadow for right now, and you can see how it automatically adds that drop shadow to your image. The next thing that I was going to talk to you about I'm going to lock up the images right now because I'm going to talk to you about backgrounds. Let's say, for instance, I want to put a background behind this first page. I've got some images already prepared for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to File and Place, and I'm on the background layer right now. Go back into my Creative Suites folder and go to my Demo folder here and find the textures that I wanted. Alright, so say for instance I want to put a texture behind this first page that is, oh, I don't know, let's use the Rust one because it's going to probably cause us the most fits. And I have them sized already so that they will proportionally enlarge to an 8.5 by 11. Now, in order to get it to proportionally enlarge, I'm going to have to hold down my Alt, Control, and Shift key and drag it open, and you'll notice that it's getting larger and expanding from the center, which is fine. I'm going to do that again, Alt, Control, and Shift, and make it bigger till it fits inside of that page, or that window. Make it a little bit bigger here. And you can see it's hanging off the bottom here, but I can just take and grab that and shove it up. I'm going to zoom out here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab a hold of it and move it over and down. Oop, there we go. Now I've got it pretty much in place where I want it to be. Now here's where the problem comes. It's not so much a problem with the images, but let's say for instance you're going to put some text on this page. So I'm going to go to my text layer. I'm going to add a text. Well, I got a lock here. Got to unlock that. Add a text window in here, and let's see. I'm going to zoom in so that I can see what I'm going to say. I'm going to change my type. Be sure to use type that you can actually read really well. I'm using Georgia here, but you can use other things. Just make sure that it's a good legible type. So I'm going to put my name in here. You can see how it's a problem. It's difficult to read things on this. Now I could always go in with my text tool and change that to white, and that might make it easier to read. But you have to be careful because you know, you might be able to read it and then you might not. So you have to be really cautious about using background images and things behind your stuff. It's not to say that you can't do it. You can do anything that you want to. Just be sure that you're doing stuff that is legible. The other thing that I was going to talk to you about, I'm going to lock up my texture. I'm going to add one more layer. And I'm going to call this one Logos. And I think I told you that one of the things that I could do, maybe I didn't tell you this, but one of the things that I'm going to add into the canvas area is a group of logos so that you can tell people in your portfolio where you're at in terms of your presentation. So we'll go back to the desk, back to here, back to this folder here. In here I've got logo panels. So what you can do is say, okay, for instance, the first 8-10 pages of your portfolio are all about Photoshop. So you can take and open that up and put a Photoshop logo at the beginning. These are sized at 8.5, or I'm sorry, 3 by 3. And you can again use your Alt, Control, and Shift key and size these however you want. You can put, drop shadows on them and all that kind of stuff. That way, and you can put one, I suppose, in the corner of each page that deals with Photoshop all the way down till you get to the point where you're going to be talking about Illustrator, and then you can put Illustrator logos in the corner of all the pages. That way, when someone's looking at your portfolio, they can go, oh, you did these things in Photoshop. Oh, you did these things in Illustrator, and so on. So that's pretty much all of the things that I was going to talk to you about here. Again, I'm going to include the logo panel in Canvas so you have access to that. And again, that's pretty much it. When you're all done, what I want you to do again is do file, save, and do your Adobe PDF presets on the high quality display, and make sure that you save it in a place. In this particular case, I would be saving mine as my portfolio into that folder that has all of my images and image folders in it, so that everything is tied together for future use. Again, if you take another one of my classes some other time, you'll be using this portfolio again to add more stuff to it that you've done for your other classes. So hold on to it, okay? That's really all there is to doing your portfolio for yourself. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit and do my W key so that we can see what this looks like in preview mode. So you can see when you get done how it will print out and or save up as a PDF document. Again, I caution you about backgrounds. Make sure that you use ones that you want to use that aren't going to compete too much with your images and your texts. Okay, that's pretty much all there is for now. I hope to see you guys again soon. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.